Kelly here with Mindful Bodyworks. So today we're going to be doing a beginner class. This is Beginner 101. Super easy. Make sure you listen to modifications. If something doesn't feel right, please don't do it. Yoga is all about your body and what you can do, not what the person next to you can do, not what the person on the screen can do. You have to listen to your body so that you avoid any injury. Yoga is a very personal practice, so I encourage you to use props. If something's not working well for you and you can't hold your balance, use the couch or a chair next to you or have one close to you. That way you can make it work for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to stand at the top of our mat in mountain pose. So we're going to bring our shoulders down away from our ears. We're going to bring our belly button towards our spine. We have our feet about hip width apart. We want a little bit of a soft bend in the knees. And we're going to have our eyes closed and just breathe. Inhaling into the belly for 3, 2, 1, and exhaling completely for 3, 2, 1. And let's do that again. Inhaling for 3, 2, 1, and exhaling for 3, 2, 1. And just breathe, surfing that breath into the belly. And keeping our eyes closed, just checking the body while we're standing here in our mountain pose. Making sure we're not clenching the jaw. Our shoulders are nice and relaxed down away from the ears. Our core is activated or nice and strong, pulling that belly button towards your spine. Knees still have a micro bend. And most importantly, you're breathing. One more breath here. And release. You can go ahead and open those eyes nice and slow. And we're going to inhale the arms up nice and tall. And exhale, arms come down. And inhale, arms up. And exhale, down. And this time we'll inhale the arms up. And we're just going to bend over towards our right side, lifting up and bending over. If this is too much, you can have your hand on your hip for support, breathing freely. And on our next inhale, we'll bring those arms up and exhale down. Inhale, arms up. And this time we'll go ahead and lean out over towards the left, exhaling. So we're lifting up and reaching over, modifying with the hand on the hip if you need it. Inhaling deeply, exhaling, relaxing, and inhaling back up and exhaling those arms down. So now we're going to inhale the arms up and we're going to swan dive down. So we're going to hinge at the hips, bend the knees, and come all the way down. Now, if you don't have a block or a book, you can have your hands on your shins. You can also use blocks or one block. So for you beginners, blocks have different heights. You have a low, a medium, and a high. If you haven't invested in blocks, you can always use hardback books. They work just as well. So from here, you want to go ahead and find what's good for your body. Again, we have a nice bend in the knees. And we're relaxing our head, neck, and shoulders down. Dropping them down. And relaxing. Opening up the back and the back of the legs. Each exhale, we're able to bend just a little bit further. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and come into what we call a half lift. So we're going to inhale, and we're going to lift halfway up, putting our hands on our shins. We want to be looking down at the floor so that we're not having our neck hyperextended. So nice straight back, still breathing here. And then on our next exhale, we'll go ahead and fold back down. So let's try that one more time. Inhaling, half lift. And exhaling, fold. Let's come down to all fours. If you have sensitive knees, you can use a blanket underneath your knees here. You can also double up if you're using a yoga mat. You can double that up and use it under your knees as well. So from here, we're going to take our toes and put them into the floor. This just gives us a little bit more stability, which is great for beginners. We want to stack our joints. So our hands are underneath our elbows and our shoulders, and our knees are underneath our hips. Nice wide starfish fingers. You should see the color of the floor or the mat between your fingers. And we're going to go ahead and come into cat and cow. So our cat, we're going to exhale and arch our spine up, bringing our chin towards our chest. And on our inhale, we're coming to cow. So we bring the belly down, still engaged towards the floor. Nice strong arms, and we look forward just slightly. So go ahead and do those two on your own breath. Exhale, we come into cat. Tucking that tailbone down. And inhaling, we come into our cow. Belly comes towards the floor, still engaging the navel towards the spine. And so work with your own breath on these. Couple more. And you can remember what breath to take just by, if you think about when you're arching your back up, you're squeezing all the air out of the belly and the lungs. And when you come down, you're inhaling and you're opening that area up so that you can take your breath in. So let's come into a neutral spine now. So neither arching or sagging. And then we're going to come into a low lunge. So from here, we're just going to come into a kneeling position. And we're going to take the left foot forward. I'm going to scoot back just a little bit because I folded my mat. All right, so scoot your toes out so that your knee is in line with your ankle. You can also scooch that back knee back as well if you're running out of mat. And so we're going to come up on those back toes again. That just gives us some stability. And we're going to lean into this. So our shoulders are up and back. Our head is nice and tall. Now, if you're having balance issues, you can hold a chair or a couch next to you. You can put your hands up on your knee. You can also use these blocks depending on how long your arms are and how tall you are. So breathing into this, both lifting and stretching at the same time. So this is our low lunge. Every exhale helps to open the front of that back leg. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to bring our hips back. And we're going to bring our toes towards our nose. So flexing the foot. You can even bring those blocks back if you need to. And breathe into the back of that leg. So we want to have a nice straight back here. You can even come all the way up. Try and flex your foot there. Bring your toes towards your nose. And then we'll plant the foot back down. And from here, we're just going to frame the foot. That means we bring our hands on either side of our foot, making a frame for it. And we're going to step back. And we're going to be switching legs. So now we're going to take that right leg forward. And we're going to scooch those toes up. And again, find what's comfortable for you, whether you have your hands on your knee, your hips, a couch, or chair, or your blocks. Again, if you're up on those back toes, that will help you with balance, which is great for beginners. And we're breathing, still surfing that breath. Every exhale helps us to relax into the pose a little bit more. So nice straight back, shoulders coming back. There you go. Leaning forward just a little bit. And we'll bring the hips back, toes towards our nose. Nice straight back, or as much as possible. Again, it's okay to hold on to a wall or a chair if you need more balance. Balance develops with this practice, so don't worry. Good, flexing the foot. And then planting that foot back down, framing the foot, and bringing the feet back. Child's pose is next. So with our child's pose, we want to have our knees wide. Feet are together, and we're gonna sit back. So the further your knees are apart, the easier this pose is. If you're not able to get your seat to your feet, you can always put a blanket or a pillow right between so that you're able to relax. If you're not able to get your head to the floor, you can use a block. You can also use your fists. There's all kinds of ways to make this work for you. Inhaling and exhaling into the belly. Inhaling, coming back up into a kneeling position. Bringing the knees in just a little bit for hip width apart. Coming up onto the toes, we're going to do a modified camel. So with that, we're going to take our fist and we're going to put them on either side of our tailbone. And we're just going to make a C with the spine, just a little bit, only to where it's comfortable. If you have any low back issues and this doesn't feel good, you just go back to child's pose. And now inhaling, coming back to center, sitting back into our child's pose, knees apart, feet together, and coming back to wherever it was comfortable before. Breathing here. Taking a nice deep inhalation and exhaling, lifting ourselves back up. We're going to do a modified plank, so we're lowering ourselves down. So we want to have our knees way far behind us. So instead of having them stacked under the hips, we're just going to scoot them back. We want our hands to be nice and wide, and we're going to lower down with strength. Inhaling, we'll come into a modified cobra. So we're going to lift the head and the chest off of the mat. You want to be looking down at the mat. And you should be able to lift your hands, and that lets you know that you're using your low back muscles. And on your next exhale, you can lower back down. And we'll do that one more time. So inhaling, lifting, Engaging the legs as well, nice strong legs. And on your next exhale, you can lower back down to the mat. Taking a breath here. Now, if this is uncomfortable, you can also stack the arms at any time. Breathing. Now coming back to our modified cobra, we'll lift one more time. So relaxing the head and the neck. We want to try and keep the spine in alignment. So that's why you keep your head looking down. On your next inhale, you can go ahead and lift, engaging those legs, squeezing. Your knees should leave the mat. And on your next exhale, go ahead and lower down. Knees wide, feet together, pushing back into our child's pose. Opening that low back. Take one more breath here. And come up nice and slow. From here, we're just going to sit down on our rear end. We want to have our strap. Now, if you don't have a strap, you can always use a belt or a scarf or a band, anything you have around the house that resembles this. We'll be taking our left foot out nice and long, and the right foot is going to be coming in. Now, if this is uncomfortable for your knees at all, you can put a block or a pillow under your right knee, as well as put one under the left knee if you feel like it's hyperextending. So we're going to put the strap or belt around your ball of your foot. Just leaning forward while you're actively pulling those toes back. So you want to have a nice straight back. And we're breathing into the whole back of the leg. One more breath here. And then we'll switch legs, taking the right toes into the belt or strap, bringing the left foot into the inner thigh. Again, cushioning that knee if you need to. So actively pulling on the strap, so we're flexing the foot back towards our nose, sitting up nice and tall. So lifting up through the top of the head, and then coming forward just a little bit, breathing here, only stretching to where it's comfortable. Noticing if one leg is tighter than the other, if you have more range of motion in one leg than the other. Coming back to center. And we'll take both feet into our strap. And we'll be doing the same thing, lifting through the top of the head first, flexing the feet, and then leaning forward only to where it's comfortable. So relaxing the arms. There you go. I should say relaxing the shoulders. And coming back to center. Now to stretch the arms, we're going to sit comfortably, however that may be. You can do cross leg or not, completely up to you. We'll be taking the strap in our right hand and bringing it behind our back, and then taking the left hand coming from below. And so you want to try and get your hands as close to each other as possible. So lifting up here, let go. Taking the arm just like that. Perfect. So nice straight back. You want to make sure, even though you've got this right arm bent, that you're not pushing your head forward. So breathing here. And one more inhalation. And exhale and release. Coming to the other side, we'll take the strap in the left hand, go up above the head. Right hand's gonna come down from below and scooch those hands together. Notice if one side is easier for you than the other side. Keep our heads up nice and tall. And we're breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. One more breath here. And release nice and slow. Now next we're going to be coming into a half boat or a modified boat. There's many modifications with this one, so pick which one works best for you. So we can start with the hands behind the hips, fingers facing our hips. Nice straight back, straight back. There you go. And we're going to lift the feet. Perfect. So you want to try and keep your back straight while you have your legs lifting. And come back to center. And we're going to do it again. So taking those hands back and lifting and breathing. Nice strong core and releasing. And now we're going to roll down one vertebrae at a time with control. So make sure when you roll down, if you're using a mat, your head will be able to get on the mat. And nice and slow and controlled, one vertebrae at a time, rolling all the way down. And this is where we're going to be coming into Shavasana or corpse pose. So we're going to bring the shoulders down away from the ears. Bring the low back down away from the shoulders. Relax the feet. They might want to splay out to the sides. That's completely fine. We're going to take our hands out wide, palms facing up. If this is uncomfortable, you can have your hands on your belly, feeling your breath rise and fall with this relaxation. If you need to, you can also put a blanket underneath your knees or a bolster, especially if you have any low back issues. And if you don't have any props, you can leave your knees bent and just take your feet wide and bring your knees together, just like this. So pick whichever one feels good for you. And we're going to close our eyes and start breathing. So inhaling deeply into the belly. Feeling the belly rise like you're blowing up a balloon. And on our exhale, we're going to squeeze the belly button towards the spine, relaxing everything in our body. Again, surfing that breath, starting to lengthening so our inhales are just a little bit deeper. And our exhales are a little bit longer. And work with your breath for a few moments. This is the part of the practice that is the most important and often the most difficult for people. It's the stillness. We're so used to having that monkey mind. So anytime you have a thought that pops in your head, acknowledge the thought, give it little wings and watch it fly away. You can think about that as soon as this is over. So go ahead and inhale deeply. And exhale, sinking into the floor. Your body's nice and heavy. And doing a body check, starting at the feet. Our feet are swaying out to the sides, relaxing down. And then coming up to the knees and the hips. Our whole lower body is nice and weighted. And from the hips to the low back, mid and upper back, we're letting our spine sink into the floor. From our neck to our shoulders, elbows, wrist, and fingers. All of our muscles and joints are nice and relaxed. Completely weighted and heavy, sinking into the earth. And moving from the neck up to the head, all the way to the crown of the head. Making sure our jaw is not clenched, our eyes are relaxed. We're not squinting or frowning. All of the muscles in the face are nice and calm. And our head is nice and heavy and weighted. So breathing however it's comfortable for you. And we're going to stay here for just a few moments. Anytime that you hear a noise or you get distracted, bring your awareness back to your breath. If you're able to stay here longer, you can push pause and really relax for a few more minutes. If not, go ahead and take a nice deep inhalation, waking the body, bringing the mind and the body back as one. Wiggle the toes, open and close the hands. Bending one leg and then the other at the knee. And windshield wipering those legs from side to side if it's comfortable. And then bringing both knees over to the right side. And slowly pushing yourself up into a seated position. Keeping our eyes closed, we'll bring our hands heart center, prayer position. Pushing the palms together, feeling the warmth and the energy between the hands. Sitting up nice and tall so that the crown of the head is over the sacrum or the low back. And taking a nice deep inhalation here. And exhaling completely. And again, inhale. And exhale. And now dipping the chin towards the fingers and blinking the eyes open nice and slow, looking at the floor. And when you're ready, you can slowly bring your gaze back up And this is where we'll end our practice, so namaste. Thank you so much for watching Beginners 101. Stay tuned for Beginners 102.